Hello everyone, I'm back, and spoiler alert, I bought more vinyls. And you might be thinking to yourself, hey, your problem with spending money on vinyls seems to be getting pretty out of hand, to which I would say, I'm now back from my vacation and I have some more vinyls to showcase for you all. I gesture like this because they're spread out here at my feet and you can't see that obviously. And to any who are wondering, yes, my series covering the career and the albums of The Weeknd is still happening. I am writing the script for the next video as we speak. I should be ready to film that very soon. But until then, I wanted to give you something to tide you over, as well as officially come back to YouTube after being gone for a few weeks. So we're gonna be going over the vinyls that I've purchased since the last time I did this. For those of you who don't know, I've already done a vinyl haul. Link is probably in the description. And unlike last time, this time I have them divided into categories. So we're going to be going over vinyls that are kind of grouped together a little more coherently than they were the last time. Starting with our first category, Johnny Cash. Because I bought a few more Johnny Cash albums, of course. For starters, I got the 2015 remaster re-release of his Live at Folsom Prison album. This is a really cool vinyl I found while I was on vacation, and I'll take you through it right now. This version is a double LP as opposed to the used version that you saw in the last video. That was an original from 1968, but this is from 2015. And on the back here, we have what looks to be a poem that was actually written by Johnny Cash himself. And if we open this up, we have an image of the cafeteria at Folsom Prison where he performed. And of course, the vinyl inside is your standard black vinyl, but there was also a very interesting booklet that came with the purchase. As you can see, we've got an image of Johnny Cash on stage at Folsom Prison, as well as him outside in the yard. And of course, we have the track list as well as credits for everyone who was, performing that day as well. And we've also got an interview in here with Johnny Cash regarding his concert at Folsom Prison. Sorry, I lied. This interview was actually with his wife, June Carter Cash, in 1999. And it's full of other commentaries and credits, as well as, of course, images of the concert itself, which I find really cool. Once we're done moving, I'll probably put that booklet in a more prominent spot in my setup, but for now I'm just keeping it in the actual vinyl case sleeve. And next up we have Johnny Cash American Album number 4, The Man Comes Around. I love Johnny Cash's American Album series, just his raw, elderly vocals combined with the minimal and very dark acoustic production. A lot of these albums were covers of very popular songs at the time, whether they were country songs, folk songs, and sometimes covers of Nine Inch Nails songs. But not this one though. And on the anti-static sleeves inside, we have some images from the time, as well as on the back here is a quote, or rather a rather long quote from Johnny Cash himself in an interview conducted in 2002. And we've got another picture on the second LP. This is a double LP, of course, as well as the track listing and credits. But yeah, lots of really good stuff came out of the American albums, and this was one of my favorites personally. And then I have American number 5, 100 Highways. This one was a single LP. Got this picture of, looks like a deer's head of some kind on the front. We've got a quote from Rick Rubin on the inside here, and then the track listing, producer credits, all that stuff. And I'm not spending any time on the vinyls themselves because they're just standard black. But this album had some great tracks on it too, like the 309, God's Gonna Cut You Down, Give My Love to Rose. Oh no, Rose of My Heart, sorry, Give My Love to Rose was on the other one. I love old Johnny Cash. There's something really special about just the rawness of his vocals, because at the time these were recorded, he was an old man. And so there's something really unique about his aged voice and the acoustic production that I just really love. And for the next category, we have an unofficial trilogy of sorts. You'll see what I mean in a minute, but the first two are definitely very much linked. Firstly, I have the Grammy-winning soundtrack for the James Mangold film Walk the Line, which is of course a biopic on the life of Johnny Cash. This is probably my favorite biopic about a musician of all time. Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash is insane, and Reese Witherspoon as June Carter was also insane. This whole movie is amazing. And the actors and actresses did perform all of these songs themselves, of course being classic covers of popular Johnny Cash songs. If you haven't watched this movie, it is incredible. It's from the same director who did A Complete Unknown just this past year. And on the sleeve on the inside here, we have the poster for Walk the Line. Really cool. And of course the vinyl itself is black. And to follow that up, I have James Mangold's other musical biopic, A Complete Unknown, with Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. And it's the same deal here. The cast actually performed all of these songs themselves, and I absolutely loved this movie, though not quite as much as Walk the Line, I have to admit. But they've got covers of classic Bob Dylan songs on here, so you absolutely can't go wrong. And I do still recommend the movie. I don't want to make it seem like I didn't enjoy the movie. I really did. And on the inside we have this little thing that's just pictures of Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan, and the sleeve itself is the same deal with some more pictures. Really cool. And I completely forgot that this version of the soundtrack is on Columbia red vinyl, so take a look at that. I don't know if the colors are coming quite across on camera, but it looks really lovely in person. And as you've probably guessed at this point, the category that we're going through right now is musical biopics, and we're closing out the trilogy, unofficial trilogy, might I add, with the soundtrack for Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. Now, a lot of the songs in here are just Elvis performing his own songs, although Austin Butler does provide some tracks on this soundtrack, as well as original songs by the likes of Sway Lee, Doja Cat, people like that. And on the inside here, we've got the full spread. Elvis. When I heard he was making an Elvis movie, that seemed like the absolute perfect fit for me, because Baz Luhrmann's films are often very over-the-top, flashy, glamorous, or at least if The Great Gatsby was anything to go off of. And Elvis was certainly that. And on the inside here, we have a little image of Austin Butler as the man, the myth. This is a single LP, even though it opens up like a double LP does. And the vinyl is your standard black, but check out those golden gems that are kind of encrusting the middle feature there. Isn't that nice? It's been a while since I've rewatched Elvis. I'll have to give that a rewatch sometime. And it's very hard to get this vinyl back in the sleeve, so that's also very fun. When I first opened it, it took me like 5 minutes or something to figure it out. And the next category of vinyls we'll be going over is some more hip-hop records, beginning with the soundtrack to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which was produced, of course, by the legendary Metro Boomin. This is specifically the Heroes variant, which does imply that there's a Villains variant. I haven't done the research, but if you open it up, we've got all the Spiderses, and if we pull the sleeves out, we've got some really cool artwork of the characters, and the album is your standard black vinyl. But this is a double LP with some amazing hits by the likes of A$AP Rocky, Future, Lil Uzi Vert, Don Toliver, people like that. Absolute legends. And there we got some more artwork there. Got Spider-Punk. Love it. Oh, and the meme. I just realized they got the Spider-Man pointing meme. And it also came with this artwork right here, which is pretty cool. That's pretty much it for this one, but this was an amazing soundtrack for a great movie. But honestly, the soundtrack alone is a good listen, even if you didn't enjoy the movie. And up next, I have another Kendrick Lamar record. In the last video, I showed you all the ones I had gotten up until that point. I have To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, the Black Panther soundtrack, and GNX were all, I believe, in that video. And I have now officially also added Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. This is an album that I actually heard years ago and then started re-listening to recently and thoroughly enjoyed it. But then even as of like a few days ago, it started hitting way harder for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I was listening to it and really enjoying it, but then all of a sudden it's like the veil was lifted from my eyes and I started just like really appreciating it even more. In my last video, I talked about how GNX is probably Kendrick's most commercially accessible album to date, this is probably the opposite. But even as I say that, I don't necessarily believe it, because a lot of the songs on there are bangers. You just don't really hear them on the radio. But there's absolutely some downright sinister deep cuts like We Cry Together. That's a crazy one. Discretion advised when listening to that. But yeah, of course, we got the cover of Kendrick with his family, his kids. I just love the dichotomy of this album cover too, and this is probably the only chance I'll have to talk about it. The struggle that Kendrick has had for years and years now of his faith and his religion telling him to be peaceful and turn the other cheek, but his upbringing in Compton telling him to squabble up. And so here we've got him wearing the diamond crown of thorns, but as you can see tucked in his shirt there, he's got the peace on him. And it's the same in this photo where he's wearing the same crown, but he's got the shotgun leaning against the wall. Thematically, this is a very interesting and very complex album. There's a great video that I just recently watched. I'll maybe link it in the description, but it does a great job explaining the vision and the themes and the story of Mr. Morale. But let's get to the inside, shall we? Firstly, we've got some more photos of Kendrick, and that's the track list. This is a double LP, even though it comes in a sleeve that kind of implied that it was a single LP, but it's not. And here we've got Kendrick, but he outside. But this is an incredible album. The more I listen to it, the more it's fast becoming one of my favorites of Kendrick's. And if there's another really positive outcome that came from exploring Kendrick and his albums and his discography, it's that I got introduced to his idol, or one of his idols, Tupac. Beginning, of course, with All Eyes on Me. This was the only version I could find anywhere in any stores, and it is a quadruple LP. 4 vinyls. That's 2 albums worth of one album. But it's got some amazing West Coast hits on it, like Ambitions as a Rider, Scandalous. There's also a remix of California Love on here. And of course on the back we've got some more photos of Tupac, as well as on the inside here. There's also a personal thank you in here that I believe is from Tupac himself, but I don't think I can read this just because look at me. And the vinyls are of course your standard black, but there are 4 of them. So yeah, All Eyes on Me, incredible album. It's really cool listening to Tupac and his stuff. Having already listened to Kendrick, you can really hear the inspiration that Kendrick took from this man. And the next category of vinyls we're gonna go through are the miscellaneous ones. I only have 2 that fit into this category. Firstly, I have John Lee Hooker and the Coast to Coast Blues Band. John Lee Hooker is an absolute titan of the blues. Was, I don't know if he's still alive. This is a 2020 remastering of his Live at Montreux Stadium from 1983 and 1990. So I guess 2 performances in one album. But I've spun this one already and it is incredible. I love the blues, especially when it's performed live. It just hits different. And so I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to this. And lastly in this category, I have An Evening with Silk Sonic, the Bruno Mars Anderson .Paak duo with the special guest host Bootsy Collins. And there's also a feature by Thundercat on this album, which is incredible. In the 21st century, this is peak sentimental, luxurious R&B sound. This whole album feels like it's silk-laced and diamond-encrusted, if that makes sense. Like it smells like perfume and cigar smoke, if you know what I mean. And the vinyl is your standard black, but we've got this cool blast off with Silk Sonic. And hey, if my hard-earned money can go to paying off Bruno Mars's crippling gambling debt, it is an honor, Mr. Mars. They've got some great stuff on here. Smoking Out the Window, Fly As Me, 777. It's an incredible listen. It's almost kind of similar to Dawn FM in the case that it's almost like this narrative all the way through with a DJ kind of facilitating the mood of the night, except instead of Jim Carrey, it's Bootsy Collins. But yeah, this is a great album. Listen to it. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. And the next category we have on our list tonight is video game soundtracks. There's only a few, but they're good ones. Starting off with the Minecraft Alpha soundtrack by C418. The Minecraft soundtrack, at least in my mind, and this is definitely nostalgia talking, is the pinnacle of ambient music. C418 put together such an incredible vibe for an amazing game that has lasted so long at this point. And so I got the alpha soundtrack, which, if we open it up, is this lovely transparent green vinyl. Look at that. It's so nice. And we got the grass block texture in the middle. And here we've got the dirt texture. I've spun this one a few times, and it's such a pleasant mood to have on, just in the background. The amount of nostalgia that this soundtrack brings out in me is insane. I love Minecraft. And you know I got the beta soundtrack as well. This one is actually a double LP, believe it or not. And if we open it up, we've got this beautiful fire splatter color vinyl. Look at that. This is something else. I only just got home, so I haven't actually had the opportunity to spin this one yet, but I am looking forward to it. I chose to spin Mr. Morale first. That would be an absolutely unhinged transition to go from We Cry Together into this soundtrack. That would hit different. This is a really cool vinyl, and I'm looking forward to listening to the soundtrack as a whole. And finally, for video game soundtracks, I have the Baldur's Gate double LP. Sorry, triple LP. This is a triple LP. I love Baldur's Gate so much. If you look back on my channel, you will see no Baldur's Gate content, but the stretches of time in between uploads will tell you exactly all that you need to know about how much I love this game. And the artwork on this cover is insane. We've got a dragon, displacer beast, owlbear, spectator, and in the middle we've got the artifact. If you know the game, you know. If you know, you know. The soundtrack was composed by Borislav Slavov. I hope I'm saying that even close to right. I just wanted to make sure his credit was out there. And if we open this up, we've got this amazing spread right here. We've got the antagonists that you fight in the game, Gortash, Orin the Red, and Ketheric Thorm over there. These names mean nothing to you if you don't play Baldur's Gate, I'm sorry. And then over here we've got all of your traveling companions you can meet on the road. Gale, Shadowheart, Will, Lae'zel. Is Karlach there? Yes, Karlach's there. Astarion, of course. And I believe in the middle that's supposed to be your character and the Dream Companion, which is cool. Just a little nod to Tav, of course. But the cool part is the vinyl itself. I mean, the whole thing is cool, but the vinyls hit different. And spinning this soundtrack has been really cool. I don't have a D&D group in my town, unfortunately, but if I did, this soundtrack is an amazing accompaniment to any campaign. So here's the vinyl. We've got Shadowheart in the middle there. Now, on the surface, this looks like a standard black vinyl. At least that's what it looked like when I bought it. But if I just take my flashlight here, I can show you exactly what I mean. I hope this is coming across, but there's this really cool, almost inky purple swirling pattern in there. I hope this is working. It should be. It looks like it is. Here, I'll get a little closer so you can see what I mean, as long as I'm not out of focus. But this is a really cool vinyl. Because on the surface it just looks like standard black vinyl, but if you really look at it under the light, it's really cool. And all of the vinyls are like that. But yeah, I've become just a tiny bit obsessed with Baldur's Gate in the last few months. There's Shadowheart up on the shelf there, you can kind of see. I have her sitting on some of my really nice books because she kind of fits the vibe up there. And that's my Baldur's Gate 3 soundtrack vinyl, which, fun fact, if you're looking at getting this and you live in Canada, it's actually cheaper to order this off of the Larian website from the United States than it is to buy it off Amazon. I checked. At least for my region. I don't know if it would be the same for your region, but yeah, so there's that. And now for the last category, which is my official Weeknd update. Because I mentioned in the last video that I am attempting to collect the entirety of the Weeknd's discography on vinyl, because he is my absolute favorite artist of all time. I love his work. I've loved all of his albums, and so I wanted to get them all on vinyl because I just think it's really special. And so if we flash back to the last vinyl haul, you will know that I have vinyl copies of the Thursday mixtape, the Echoes of Silence mixtape, Beauty Behind the Madness, and of course his newest trilogy of After Hours, Dawn FM, and the first pressing of Hurry Up Tomorrow. And so for those of you who know the Weeknd's discography, that means I am missing the House of Balloons mixtape, Kissland, Starboy, and of course the double LP version of Hurry Up Tomorrow, which as of recording this, came out 3 days ago. And so now I'm going to show you exactly how far I've gotten on that front. Starting with Kissland. I put a little update in the description of the first vinyl haul because I had mentioned in that video, roll the clip, I have actually ordered online a vinyl copy of Kissland. Now that's shipping from the UK and I haven't received any updates and it's been like nearly a month. So I may have to look into that. And as it turns out, the day that that video was released to the public, this came in the mail. I had to order this from the UK from a rare records store, so I think that means this is a rare find, I don't know. But regardless, it's really cool because Kissland is one of my absolute favorite Weeknd albums of all time, one of my favorites of his projects. And this was one of the first ones that I genuinely wanted on vinyl, even if it's one that I had to get a little later. I love the like retro Japanese aesthetic that he goes for with the promo material and stuff. This is of course a double LP. And on the inside we've got little artworks like that. And the vinyls themselves are standard black, but on the inside here in the center, we have the little green avatar that was all over the branding for this album. But I've spun this one a few times at this point, and I absolutely love it. This was the Weeknd's first official album. Of course, his first album was Trilogy, which was a compilation of his original mixtapes, but Kissland was his first studio album, and it's so special to me. And next, I have Starboy. Of course, we've got the cover on the front, and on the inside here, we've got a little image of Abel kind of forming like the cross, which was a repeating motif in the music videos. Because this album dealt with a lot of themes like death and rebirth, and that was kind of symbolized in the cross that would frequently appear in music videos. And the vinyl itself is this lovely transparent red, which fits the aesthetic of the album cover as well. But yeah, I love it. This album felt, in both its presentation and its production, very retro in a lot of ways, but also very futuristic in other ways. So yeah, I have Starboy, and this vinyl is also nearly impossible to get back into its case. How the hell do I do this? This happened to me last time too. There we go. And lastly, I finally have the double LP of Hurry Up Tomorrow by The Weeknd, produced by Mike Dean. We've got the album cover and then flames on the back here. And if we open it up, we've got this still, which I believe is probably another promotional image for his Hurry Up Tomorrow movie. I'm not sure what day this video is releasing, but as of recording this video, I have not yet seen that movie, though I want to. I don't even know if it's out where I'm at right now. I just got the standard black edition vinyl of Hurry Up Tomorrow, but with that, I have every entry in the Weeknd's discography on vinyl officially. Oh, I also have the Live at SoFi Stadium album that I showed in the last video. I have every entry in his discography except for the original House of Balloons mixtape, which I am still looking for. I have asked at every record store I've been at. I've had people say they have it on order. I've had people saying they haven't seen it in years. So I may have to do some digging and find another obscure and or rare record store where I can get that from, because apparently that one's going to be the hardest one to get, which ultimately makes sense considering it was his first mixtape. But with that, we have all of the vinyls that I have gotten between last video and this one. And I am officially back to making videos. I am nearly done the script for the next installment of my series covering The Weeknd's career, which is of course the Thursday mixtape. And I'm looking forward to that video because of the trilogy mixtapes, Thursday is my absolute favorite. And so I hope you're excited for that, because I definitely am. and thank you so much for watching this video. And of course, a huge shout out goes to my patrons, Sean, Happy the Knife, and my top tier patrons, RD, Snowy, and Bottomless Potamus. Thank you so much for supporting my videos. Thank you for allowing me to take a break as I went on vacation and visited family. Had a really great time, lots of really great stuff that I'm not really sure I can talk about just because it's like private family stuff, but it was a great time. Very stressful, but very great. And thank you for supporting my dream of being able to make videos like this for you all full time. It means the most, and thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to get to editing this so that you can see it, and then I'll be right back to working on the script for my coverage of the Thursday mixtape. That'll be up next. I hope that you're excited for it, because I know that I am. And cut.